Good evening, beautiful people of the You Create the Dream page, and welcome to Awake in the Dream. This is our fortnightly call. I was about to say weekly again. This is our fortnightly call. It's an opportunity to ask me any questions at all, and I also share a bit of a vibe, whatever it is I feel that people need to hear right now. Just going to scroll down. Hello, beautiful Marina. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to tonight's call. Interestingly, Marina, I was only thinking a few moments ago that it actually feels like it must have been at least a month since I've been on. And I know it hasn't been, but yeah, it feels like such a long time since I've been on. Hello, hello, everybody. Do say hi as you come on. Seems long. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, it does. It feels like a long time. It's crazy. I have had so much going on in my world, lots and lots of things. But you never sent anything you can't handle, right? Hello, beautiful Jane. How are you? Good evening, Valerie. Gorgeous, gorgeous ladies. How are you? I hope all is fabulous. Valerie saying that's the feeling I got too. Yeah. So I believe a couple of weeks ago I was down the coast. I went live there, but it just feels like a long time. So here we are this evening. Might wake up to snow. Yes, I know. I was actually just reading that. It is chilly. The heating's on. Hello, beautiful Marina. How are you? Good evening, Rob. How are you? Welcome, 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 everybody. I hope you are all fabulous. Happy Monday to you, and I hope you had an amazing weekend. My weekend was extremely busy. As I mentioned, I have a lot going on, so lots and lots of things happening, very unexpected things happening in lots of different areas. So, doing my thing, doing my thing. Anyway, on that, I am here to answer any questions at all that come up for you, any vibe that you're picking up, anything you want assistance with. This call is for you. Another thing that I want to talk about this evening is the self-talk, right? The things that go on in our mind. Hello, beautiful Lily. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to talk about the self-talk, right? So I've often spoken about the difference between self-care and self-love. And for those that have done my online programs, I do mention it quite often in there, right? There's a huge difference. Self-care became a trend, right? It was a very trendy phrase. Hello, beautiful Sharon. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So self-care became a very trendy phrase, but what most people didn't realize or didn't understand was that having time out, having the facial, lazing around, having like a day where you're going to spend the whole day on the lounge with a blankie and you're getting your nails done, all these little things, right? Whilst they're good, it's what's going on in your head that matters the most, right? So if you're doing those things, if you're taking the time out, if you're spending a day in bed, if you're spending the day on the lounge, thinking that it's self-care, yet wallowing in your toxic thoughts, wallowing in all the things that are going wrong, thinking about the things that are going wrong, thinking about the things that you want to have that don't have, like all those sorts of things, right? Then you're not really giving yourself the self-care that you need. This is why I like to call it self-love. Am I having loving thoughts right now? Other thoughts that I'm feeling, are they of the thoughts that I'm feeling? Well, you're thinking them and feeling them, but are they of a feeling, a high vibe feeling, right? Nothing is ever going to really change in our world, no matter what we are doing, if the thoughts that we are thinking are still toxic and low vibing thoughts, right? You want to change your health in your life, you want to live a higher quality of life, you want to attract a higher quality of people into your world, then you must work on your mind. You must work on mastering your mind. Valerie, one of my ears is making flickering noises quite a lot. Something you need to listen to, Valerie. It's something you need to listen to. And tuning you in, right? There's been such a massive shift for you, Valerie, massive change for you. Your trip overseas was huge. A lot of things, were shifting within you. You're aware of that. Then, of course, you came home, and we've shared on the I Am Woman page around that. But this is literally the new you. You are being realigned, reactivated. So much of you is being reactivated. Marina, the thought of someone touching my face is not related. Marina, really? Oh my Lord, I used to be a beauty therapist in my old life, very old life, right? And oh my goodness, the movement. around the eyes and pressure here is just so beautiful. However, I will say, I don't get facials because highly critical, having been a therapist, highly critical, but what I do love is reflexology. So for me, if I go out with a group of friends, they all choose to have the facials, and I make sure I find a reflexologist. Good evening, beautiful Stephanie, how are you? Marina, I can't see Valerie's comments. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Valerie is here. She is here. Okay, so if you take time out for yourself, the doing, right? You are choosing to do something different, but you're not being aware of who you're being in the moment, right? If you're doing that and not being aware of your thoughts and recognizing that, hang on a minute, I'm taking time out to rest my body, to have the facial, to do the nails, whatever it is, but I'm not aware of who I'm being and I'm really still being my old toxic self, nothing is going to change in your world. Nothing is going to change, except maybe you'll have a little bit more cash on you because you've spent all this money doing all those other things, right? Marina, my daughter is a beauty therapist. Yes, she is. So you should allow her to do those beautiful treatments for you. And you know what, Marina, maybe I would look at, is it the fact that you can't relax? Is that what it is? I can't slow down and relax enough. Is your mind elsewhere, thinking about what else needs to be done, worried about the things that obviously you're a caregiver and all that. So what are you thinking about those things and not able to switch off and allow yourself to let go completely without being aware of what's happening around you? Because you do need to be consciously aware of what's happening around you at all times. So maybe that's what it is for you. What else do you do that allows you to completely switch off and let go of everything around your surroundings? So the thing is, we're always thinking something, right? Valerie, I think my ear is trying to get back to normal. Of course it is. I have zero doubt there, zero doubt. It's getting you to hear something, right? They're trying to speak with you. Since coming back, been doing so many things, didn't have time to relax, but loving the way I feel while doing, and that is a perfect example. I'm loving the way I'm feeling whilst I'm doing, right? So I'm loving who I'm being while I'm doing. I want you all to really work on being consciously aware all the time of who you are being in the doing. We are always thinking something, no matter what we're doing, right? No matter what it is we're doing, we're thinking something. What is it you're thinking about? If those thoughts aren't positive and if they're not life enhancing, then your life is not going to change. Mastering your mind and basically learning to interrupt the pattern, right? You must interrupt the pattern. That's what changes absolutely everything, because we are a set of programs and patterns, right? We just habitually think things, we habitually do things, we do things a certain way. And whilst we can ride out any storm and go, look, actually, perfect example. There are a lot of people that talk tough, but that's not positive. Oh, I don't care. It'll be right. Been there, done that. I'll get over it. It'll be right. It'll be right. We'll get through it. Always get through it. That's not interrupting a pattern. That's waiting to ride out the storm, right? So that's not changing anything. What I'm asking you all to do is to recognize that if we want to be more, then we need to recognize the thoughts that we have, and anything that is not life enhancing, we need to interrupt the pattern, okay? Literally interrupt it and change it. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Because for as long as we continue to have the same thoughts, right? For as long as you are thinking the same thing, you will continue to have the same feeling, right? You're going to continue to keep feeling the way you feel. You'll continue to make the choices based on those feelings. So you're going to make those choices that are basically leading you to having the same reoccurring experiences over and over again. And what's going to happen? If I keep making the same choices and then therefore I'm having the same experiences, then I'm going to continue to have the same feelings. Okay, because my thoughts haven't changed. It's this constant loop, right? It's if you're having the same thoughts, then they're going to keep leading you over and over and over again to living the same quality of life. And we know that our thoughts, hi beautiful Krista, how are you? And we know that our thoughts trigger our feelings, and that triggers what we radiate out into the universe, which is basically the field, the energy that we're putting out, which says this is what I want to receive. Scary thought. This is what I want to receive more of. So we're putting that out there. So we want to be aware of what it is that we are putting out there. We're in a Groundhog Day. But that's the pattern. That's the pattern, isn't it? And we have to interrupt it. We have to catch ourselves doing it. What was it I said the other day? I think I said it to Martin. You don't know until you know. I can't remember who I said it to now, but we were talking about something, and I think I can't recall now if it was I had an awareness of something with me, or if it was maybe I found another issue for Martin to work on. That doesn't surprise me. No, it was something. We're having a conversation, but I had said, it's not until you see it that you actually know you've got something to deal with. And for myself, a couple of weeks ago, I got slammed with something, right? And it was really interesting to recognize a phrase that I said. It was a phrase that I said that made me aware of a pattern that I have. And that phrase, happy to share it with you. Hello, beautiful Dee, how are you? So many things have activated in the past few days. Yeah, do you know there's so much going on for all of us, right? This is all about an up-leveling. But for me personally, right, I had something, we've actually had 3 things now, and I don't believe things happen in 3s, but pretty big, right? Pretty big. And what I realized, what was the thing I was thinking? Whilst I was crying, whilst I had the tears, right? What was I thinking? What was my attitude? What was I feeling? And do you know what it was? I haven't got time for this shit. And I remember saying that a few years back when I ended up in hospital in Sydney. I'm wanting to discharge myself because I was literally in the middle of a training, right? I'm wanting to discharge myself. 2 doctors then end up coming in to bully me. And Martin burst out in tears, like I was facing the wall and I'm crying, and Martin said to me, "Oh babe, I'm so sorry you're having to go through this." And I turned around and said, "I don't give a shit about this. I just haven't got time for this crap. I haven't got time for it. How the hell am I going to fit this into my schedule?" Right? That was my thinking. So when you know, you know. So now I recognize that I have this thing that says it doesn't matter what it is, I can handle it. I have like zero fear. I'm very much roll your sleeves up if you need to, and just get stuck into it. So that I have a zero issue with. But what's going on within me? What was my thinking? What reoccurring pattern, feeling do I have, and how does that play out in my world? Where are the other times I say that, right? So it doesn't matter where we're at, things are going to happen. Things are going to continue to happen. But what I want you to become acutely aware of is, what am I thinking? Who am I being whilst I'm doing? What are the thought processes that are going on for me? Are they life affirming or not? Okay, where are we at? Marina, you said that to me, yeah, in a text message. That's what I was talking about, Marina. So that when I shared that in that message to you, it was that realization that this is what comes up for me. Valerie tried to catch someone about negative talk. The reply I got, "I know it's all about positive talk, but it isn't working." Okay, I realized the person wasn't ready. Yeah, because you all know that we have to hold an uninterrupted thought and feeling, right? It has to be uninterrupted. Too many people will say, "Well, I just want to say, okay, I am a magnet for divine prosperity." Oh shit, whilst I look at the bills, right? So that's not going to work. And this is why often, and this is the best example I can give you, and I say this a lot to a lot of clients, when people say affirmations don't work, positive thinking doesn't work for me, then I'll say to them, okay, what are the thoughts you think when you think you're being positive? And if they say a great affirmation like, all the abundance I need comes to me, or I am a magnet for divine prosperity, right? They're saying those positive things. I'm like, okay, it's present tense, perfect. And then I'll say to them, well, how do you feel when you look at the bills? And you can see them. They stop breathing, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I get so worried I'm not going to be able to make ends meet this month. That's the issue. So that's why it's not working. It's not that the positive self-talk doesn't work. It's that you can't hold it, that you're not holding the frequency and the belief long enough. That's all it is, right? So we are always thinking something. And if what we're thinking isn't, let's just call it negative, low vibe, right? If it's negative and low vibe, and we're putting those thoughts and the matching feeling out there and we're not interrupting them, then nothing in our life changes. And this is why mastering our mind is so extremely important. And this is why it's what I have been teaching forever. for as long as I've been in this industry, my whole message is that you are the power in your world. And what does that mean? That means your thoughts, your essence, your beliefs, your feelings make all the difference in your world. Okay, so like I said earlier, you might know that challenges come and challenges go, and you might think, well, this too shall pass, right? And you might choose to ride out the storms, but if you're not interrupting the pattern and if you're not reprogramming, then nothing is really going to change in your world, because these reoccurring themes and patterns will continue to play out. Okay, and every time they play out again, you go, oh shit, here we go, it's happening again. I'm feeding it, right? If I do that, I am then feeding it. So we're constantly feeding them. We're making them bigger. We're making, an ugly situation even bigger. And that stuff affects us. It affects us mentally, right? You get worn out. It creates, mental health issues. It creates anxiety. It creates depression. Lily, Joanne, what can you do when your automatic reaction to everything is so negative, putting self down? Yep, your mind always says something so fast before you can even think. Okay, it's recognizing that which you obviously do, right? It's recognizing that it is an automatic response. And then what you want to do is put a rubber band on your wrist. Literally put a rubber band on your wrist, a tight one. Every time you think of something even slightly negative, you're going to pull that rubber band and you're going to flick yourself, right? And it is not self-punishment. It is basically just to remind yourself that there is a better way, right? So I'm sure you remember the cancel erase thing, right? Which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But you're going to flick that rubber band and you're going to say, cancel erase. I used to think that. However, now, and you replace whatever it was that you were thinking, you replace it with a positive thought in present tense. I wrote about this in my first book, Back on Track, which was released in 2006. And honestly and truly, it is a fantastic process. When your wrist is sore enough, you think twice. You will think twice about hurting yourself like that. There you go, Dee. You're ready to go. Ready to go. You've got a rubber band on your wrist. You must have known. Marina, the rubber band works so well, brings awareness so quickly. It really does. Because it hurts, and we don't like doing that, right? But once you've actually caught. Look, when in 2006, when I spoke about this, I would talk about the conscious mind being a general and the unconscious mind being soldiers. And we all know that whatever the general says, the soldiers do. Why? Because soldiers are designed to follow orders, right? So if that general says, oh, life sucks, I'm not good enough, everything I touch fails, I am not saying that about me, universe, thank you. It's an example. It's just an example, a teaching example. But if we start saying stuff like that, what are the soldiers going to do? They're going to say, yes, sir. And they're going to go into immediate action to draw to you, to attract to you that which you have ordered. Good, bad, right, wrong. It doesn't matter, because to the universe, nothing is good, bad, right, wrong. It all just is. And you have free will and choice. You have free will and choice. Your wish is my command. You put a positive thought out there, followed by a negative thought immediately. It confuses the hell out of the universe. The universe goes, whoa, hang on a minute. Not quite clear on what it is you want. So you get nothing. Or if the negative is more powerful than the positive, then that's what you're going to get. We are always in alignment. Always, always, always in alignment to something. So you're either in alignment to something that is causing you grief right now, or you're either in alignment to something that is, high vibing, amazing, etc. Right? And do challenges happen even when you're in the high vibing area? Absolutely. Absolutely. For as long as we're alive, these things happen to help us to grow, to help us to evolve, to help us to be more, right? So they will come. They will come. I've been hit with some beauties, right? They will come. But how long we choose to stay stuck in it, how much power we lose to it, how long we feed it, how big, bad, and ugly we make it, that is all up to us. Okay? So it's about recognizing that, yep, okay, there's something going down right now, right? Can I deal with it? Absolutely, because I'm not ever sent anything that I can't handle. Am I going to possibly have tears over it? Yeah. Because if it gets you and you feel it, you don't want to ignore the feelings, right? So you allow yourself to feel the feelings and you allow them to come up and out, rather than, if you try to ignore the emotions, if you try to suppress the emotions, that's toxicity that you're literally swallowing, right? You're keeping that inside you. You want to cry, you want to have a pillow. I love pillow fights. Often they're by myself. But anyway, if you want to do that to just get this energy moving and vent, you want to dance, whatever it is you want to do to get this energy moving, then do that. But allow the feeling to stay in motion, because emotions are energy in motion. So allow things to stay in motion. Allow it to move. Be aware of what it is that you're thinking. What is it I am thinking now? This has come up for a reason. What is it that I am thinking? If I have an awareness of my thoughts right now, then maybe I can trail back and see where else I've had this same thought, this same feeling, what this pattern is, and how I can grow through this far more quickly, right? So what is it you do when something goes wrong? What do you do? I'll try and give a fairly general example, all right? Let's say something goes wrong at work, right? What is your default program when something goes wrong at work? Do you say, oh, damn it, bloody hell, I really messed up. Like, I am so embarrassed. I'm probably going to get fired over this. I just can't do anything right. It's no wonder I'm never the one getting promoted. I'm freaking useless. Everyone else gets promoted and here I am in this hellhole, right? Is that how you respond when something goes wrong at work? Or, far out, I really messed up, but I learned something huge today, and it got me good. It got me really good, and there's no way I'd ever make that same mistake again. I can see where I went wrong. It's never going to happen again. I choose to grow from this. I own up to my mistake. I choose to grow from this. And you know what? I know I am freaking worthy and deserving. I'm a hard worker and I'm worthy and deserving of that promotion. And when the time is right, without a doubt, I will get that promotion. So can you see, one was negative and one was obviously more positive? What is your instant reaction when something goes wrong? What is your personal thought process? So let's say that you start off with a low vibe, right? A low vibe thought. How long is it you stay there? How much personal power do you lose to it? Do you choose to interrupt it? Do you interrupt that self-bashing statement? Or do you continue it out to the very end? And then when you calm down, have a cup of tea and try and undo the knots of the negative statements, right? What is it you do? This is about recognizing what we do. And if we don't want to stay the same, we need to reprogram. Okay, we are a set of programs. I know you all love the analogy I've given with the phone, right? You buy a brand new phone. It has a basic operating system. This is you. You were born with a basic operating system. You cry, you eat, you poop, you've got hand movements, leg movements, you've got a basic operating system, right? And then over time, we put all these glitchy apps. We download programs that no longer work. We have all these glitchy apps. We have things that we know we probably should get rid of, and it's slowing our phone down, but it doesn't matter. 14,000 photographs and all the things, most of which you don't even want, but you don't have the time to get rid of it. That is us. What programs do you have that aren't serving you? Valerie, always think lesson learned. Beautiful, beautiful. So what isn't serving you? If we keep holding on to those programs, if we keep holding on to those negative ways of thinking and being, it can lead to chronic issues. We can stress, obviously, and stress leads to illness, poor mental health, low quality of life, pessimism. Who wants to hang around someone that's pessimistic, right? Poor communication, low self-esteem. All of these things are a side effect of constantly putting yourself down and having negative self-talk. When it comes to negative, low vibe thoughts, we can actually put them into 4 categories. And I think this is really important that we discuss just briefly tonight, right? There are 4 categories, right? 4 negative categories that we operate under. We either magnify an issue. This is category 1, right? So often we can magnify an issue. We focus on the worst parts of a situation. We pay no attention to the positive parts because we have latched on to those particular instances, and we are feeding them, fueling them, making them bigger. Now we've got a dramatic story to tell, and we're not focusing on any of the good stuff. I'll keep it simple, right? As an example, you might go on this amazing tropical holiday. Like, you stay in this beautiful resort, everything is beautiful, right? It's all perfect. But when you come back, the only thing you talk about is how expensive it was. How expensive it was and how, how muggy it was, right? You don't think about you don't think about or talk about how beautiful your suite was or all these other things. So that's magnifying, right? I'm choosing to only grab onto a few things, and I'm going to feed those things, and I'm going to be sure the world hears about those things. Then we have polarizing. So with polarizing, you will either see things as good or bad, black or white, and really nothing in between, right? So, for instance, everything that you do has to be absolutely perfect. There is zero room for movement, and a simple mistake to you or taking a little bit longer equals failure. Okay? Because there's no black and white. So you could put, your negative thinking could be in that category. You could be the person that just makes everything, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very similar to magnifying, but it can be a catastrophe. Okay, so magnifying is grabbing something, feeding it, making it bigger, but it can be an absolute disaster, right? So it can be an absolute catastrophe. So you are the person then that expects the worst all the time. So something little happens. Let's say you're on your way to work and you spill your coffee on your outfit. Now, because you've spilled your coffee on your outfit, you haven't left the house yet, so lucky you can race back into your bedroom and get changed before you leave. But you spill your coffee on your outfit, and now you're rushed, you're in a mood, and you honestly and truly believe that the rest of the day is going to be a shit show, right? The rest of the day is going to be an absolute disaster because you spilling your coffee on your outfit was a disaster in your mind, right? There are people that do that. Then there's personalizing. Marina, that was me, 0 to 100. Okay, but now you know better, right? Now you know better. So personalizing things, and this is a big one, especially when people have low self-esteem or low self-confidence, right? You blame yourself for anything and everything that goes wrong. Anything bad that happens, you will immediately in your own mind think it's your fault, right? Somebody argues. You think it's your fault. What could I have done differently? What could I have done to make things better between those two? But it's got nothing to do with you, but you're going to blame yourself. Your boss is in a bad mood, right? Your personal boss in a bad mood, and you're going to think, oh my God, there's something I did wrong. They found out a mistake of mine that I did yesterday. Whatever, right? You take it on as your own fault. You're in public somewhere, you see people that glance across at you briefly, momentarily, but they're talking. The first thing that you think of is that they must be talking about you. Okay, so you personalize it. Then if you personalize it, of course, then you start feeding it, right? Because in your own mind, my goodness, what our minds do is absolutely incredible, right? But you want to be aware of it, because when you are aware of what's going on in your mind, you can make a different and more empowered choice. If you're not aware, then you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But when you do know, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it when you do know? Valerie's saying, still do a bit of personalizing. You're a work in progress. We're all a work in progress, all of us, right? There's so many layers to us, and there's so many things that happen so habitually for us, and we don't know until we know. So our thinking either limits us or it enhances us. It's either stopping you from living the life that you were born for, or it is helping to elevate you so as to be more. Where are you at? What goes on for you? What happens next in our lives for each and every one of us is up to us. We will always have free will and choice. We have been gifted free will and choice. And it doesn't matter what happens to us. It doesn't matter what happens in our own personal world, but we always have free will and choice. How we choose to see it is up to us. How we choose to look at it is up to us. How much power we lose, how we take it on, how long we allow it to affect us is all up to us. But it all starts with our thought processes. What you say to yourself matters. And I'm going to give you some examples shortly, right? So as a rule, I want you to be aware of what you're thinking and work on making self-talk kind, loving, caring, determined for growth, like elevating type words. Not rubbishing yourself for where you're at, but recognizing that I have so much potential and I'm choosing to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I'm choosing every day to be more. I love myself. I love my life. I love who I am. I love how far I've come. I recognize that the person I was 20, 30, 40 years ago is like, I'm not anything like that person now. I love who I am now, but I also recognize with continued growth and development that the person I am in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years is going to be far better than the person I am today as well. Why? Because I choose growth. I recognize that I will, stuff things up every now and then, that things will come and go and what have you, but they're all an opportunity for growth. But I choose to be kind to myself every step of the way. I choose to be kind and loving to myself the same way I would if my best friend came up to me and said, oh my God, Joey, you're not going to believe it. I just did I stuffed up, I screwed up, whatever it is. The same way that I would lovingly nurture her and hold space for her, I choose to do that for myself. Why is it most of us don't choose to do that for ourselves? D, I choose growth. D, you are a powerhouse, sweetheart. You are so amazing. And I see you as this constant growth and elevating, and you've got the most beautiful smile. So what is the noise that goes on in your head around, let's pick a few topics: money, health, success, those sorts of things, and weight, right? What are the programs, even programs from your parents, right? What's gone on for you around money? The belief that you have to work hard for money. Money doesn't come easy. Money doesn't grow on trees. That was our family, right? Growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. And, sorry, Mum used to say, to my brother Peter especially, what do you think, I've got a money tree or something? So he went and he planted, we were still living in St Ives at the time in Sydney. He went and planted, I think it was 20 cents or 50 cents. He planted it in the garden out the back so that he could grow a money tree, because Mum always said she never had a money tree. I went and dug it up. But anyway, the things we do. You're so very welcome, Dee. Love you heaps. All right, so money doesn't grow on trees. What else is there? Money is evil. I love for you to share the things that you grew up with, or the thoughts that go through your mind. Rich people are greedy people and evil people, right? We heard that growing up. You need to grow up, and especially for women, you need to grow up and marry a rich man so you can live a comfortable life, right? Like, you're not going to ever be able to do it on your own. Never trust a salesperson, anyone that's trying to sell you anything. They're trying to scam you out of money, those sorts of things. It doesn't matter if you don't like your job. You've got to stick with it, because you've got to find a way to live. You've got to make money to live. How many people do we know that have done a job they dislike for years and years and years and years, all their entire career, and they've hated it every moment of the day? And considering how much time people spend at work, how sad is that? How sad is that they've lost so much of their life to something they dislike so much? All because they thought they have to do it because they have to get the money to make ends meet, and it's not about them finding their passion, their joy, but they're lucky enough to have had that factory job for 50 years now, things like that. Do you think we're made of money? Oh my God, yes. D, absolutely. That's another one, right? Do you think we're made of money? I used to hear that a lot. People that are wealthy must have scammed people. That's another one. I'm just thinking about all the ones that clients have brought to the table, right? How much do you pay for that? Money doesn't come easy, You're so, I can't believe how you are with money. You could get that from down there for like half price, and, things like that. What else have we got? People don't care about people that haven't got money. People with money don't care about people that haven't got money. Money is the root of all evil. I think I mentioned that. You're worthless if you haven't got money. People with money are the ones that always try and control you. Money is not for us. It's not our, this is our lot in life. Our family, for generations, we've been told that we need to be poor. Universe, this is totally a teaching example. I just need to make that clear. They must be drug dealers. Oh my God, Dee, absolutely. Yes, 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 they must be drug dealers. I got that in my salon. Actually, because the salon was upstairs, a lot of people in the community would say, you know, even men go up there. It's a brothel at night. And because we had built this magnificent mansion on 5 acres in Sydney, right? It was this huge monstrosity of a thing. And I had the salon, and Tony, you know, successful plumber and what have you. And yeah, I was running a brothel. My parents used to say money is for rich people, not for us. Crazy, huh? They're faking having money. Okay, yes, just the pretend thing, right? They wear the designer labels, but they don't even own their home and all that sort of stuff. Amazing. Okay, so what are some of the things around health? Some of our programs around health. Let's do a few for this one. That illness runs in our family, right? That illness runs in our family. It's our cross to bear. It's our burden. What I've got is universe, again, just making it clear. It's incurable. I have to take this medication for the rest of my life. Oh my God, I forgot to take my medication this morning. I'm going to have a flare up. Oh my goodness, I've run out and I can't get it till next week. So then, of course, you go into this absolute state of anxiety and panic, and you make yourself sick, not because you were sick, but because you were afraid of not having the medication that you think keeps you balanced. Right? Crazy things. What about weight? We're all big boned in our family. You know, it's just the way we are. It's so hard to lose weight and keep it off. It's not easy losing weight. No matter how hard I try, I just can't lose weight. What else have we got? I lose weight, but I can't keep it off. I think I've already said that. So I'm just trying to give you some examples about the things in our lives. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. I've got so much on my plate right now. I'm so tired. And the I am, what follows the I am, right, is so extraordinarily powerful. And I'm not saying that we're never not going to be tired. You know, we find ourselves having long days or what have you. I'm not saying that we're not going to feel certain things, but we need to be aware of what our thinking is so that we don't claim it as who we are. I feel tired. I'm feeling frustrated. Far out, what a big day. Like I feel, not I am, I feel tired, but look at how much I got done. Look at how much I got done. I'm just like a powerhouse today. I managed to do and I'm accomplishing something. I feel amazing. So I'm feeling tired, but I feel amazing at having had, at having gotten so much done. Completely different. You better get tested. It's on both sides of the family. Yep. I've changed how I say things to I feel. Yeah, fantastic examples, Dee. Fantastic, because every time you're saying something, it's like, oh my God, yes. I grew up hearing that one as well. So the whole idea is, first and foremost, you have to know what you're saying, right? Which means you have to be consciously aware, present enough to be consciously aware, to hear, to actually listen intently to your thoughts. Catch yourself out, interrupt the negative thought. So basically you're monitoring, right? I want you to start to monitor your thought patterns. Wear the rubber band, right, if you need to. Monitor your thought patterns, and you'll know the very powerful affirmation that I use, right, is the moment you think something negative, even slightly negative, you've got 3 seconds. Cancel, erase. I used to think that. But now, and you're going to replace it with something positive. But now I believe, this is my favorite affirmation, but now I believe everything I touch is a success. I am a magnet for divine prosperity. I only attract to myself the most loving, loyal, supportive, and amazing people in my world. I love myself. I love my life. Those sorts of things, right? And then you can tweak it. You can add anything you want to it. Or it can simply be, if you say, God damn it, everything I touch fails. Cancer race, I used to think that everything I touch succeeds. I learn from every experience. Everything I touch succeeds. It can be something very simple to negate what you just said, because remember, think of the general and the soldiers. The general makes a command. The soldiers are not there to judge. They say, yes, sir. They go into immediate action to radiate the energy to draw to you that which you desire. Good, bad, right, wrong, it doesn't matter. Valerie, I have a good one about weight. Going overseas, I was affirming it wouldn't be affecting me. I lost 2 kilos. Hubby went saying I put on 10 kilos, and he did. The power of the mind, absolutely. And I've told most of you the story in my online programs around the Krispy Kreme donuts had been out for 12 months. And this is before the M7. This was a long time ago, before the M7 was built. And Ash and I were heading to Cooma to visit my family. Drove past the Krispy Kreme building and went, oh, Ash, is that the donut place? So we went back, got some donuts, and same thing. I had tasted each and every donut out of the sample boxes. And whilst my sister-in-law was saying, how fattening they are, and she was a big girl, this is ex-sister-in-law, but she was talking about how fattening they are, and I said, not for me, love, with each and every mouthful, skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. So it was. So look at working. I would actually consider, so you don't have to overthink things, maybe consider writing an affirmation very similar to the one that I've just shared with you, which can be one that to negate all things that you say. If you say something slightly negative, flick, cancel, erase. I used to think that. However, now I believe everything I touch is a success. I am a magnet for divine prosperity. I only attract to myself the most loving, loyal, and amazing people. I love myself. I love my life. Because that way you're not having to think of something. Or, take a moment. You say cancel, erase, and take a moment to negate the very thing that you said, and replace it with a positive. I'm hoping that makes sense. So the other thing that you can do, right? The cancel, erase is extraordinarily powerful. But now that you have an awareness of your thoughts, now that you recognize that you have the same sort of thought, then maybe what you can do is consider tapping, right? You'll find lots of videos on YouTube to tap, but you can also just tap on the top of your head. Maybe I do like tapping here as well, but you can do the full tapping sequence, or you can just tap on a few places. The top of your head is great because that actually does trigger a lot of the meridians. You could tap the beginning of your eyebrow, and at the bottom, you could do all three of these, but beginning of the eyebrow and under your eye. But whilst you're tapping under your eye, you take nice, slow, deep breaths. And you just say, I release this feeling of, I release this belief. So some of the beliefs that we mentioned, money doesn't grow on trees, right? I release the belief that money doesn't grow on trees. I release the belief that it's hard to make money. Money comes to me easily now. I choose to be a good receiver of all the abundance that the universe has to offer me. I allow myself to receive. It could be things like that, right? So consider tapping. Why is the tapping good? Because what happens is we have blocks in our energy field, and the tapping is actually part of our CTC session. But we have blocks in our energy field. And the best way I can explain that is, let's say you have a fear of spiders. Now, your energy is running beautifully, but you look on the floor, you see a spider. It's dead, right? It is not going to hurt you. Consciously, you know it cannot hurt you, but it's too late. You've seen the spider, you've had that reaction. Now that reaction is the spider not now appearing in your energy field. So no longer is your energy running smoothly, but it's hitting this knot and backtracking, which is called a psychological reversal. Now, when you are in psychological reversal, you cannot think clearly. So by simply tapping on end meridian points, we're able to undo those knots whilst we're aware of the knot, if that makes sense. So I would consider tapping. But the key is to remember that negative thoughts are going to be very limiting, and they're not going to allow you to live the life that you desire. Positive self-talk enhances your overall well-being. It reduces stress. It gives you a healthy glow. It makes you feel healthier. It fires up your immune system, right? It helps your immunity. It reduces pain. It increases energy and vitality. You gain better cardio health because your heart's not under so much strain and stress and pressure from this anxiety and the cortisol and the toxicity that you're flowing through your system constantly. It obviously improves your mental health. That on its own reduces stress, right? So your entire physical well-being is going to be enhanced. It increases your lifespan. All of this by being kind to yourself, by lovingly speaking with yourself, by supporting yourself the same way you would your best friend. Why is it you would support and love others more than you are willing to lovingly support yourself? When you do that, it's going to increase your confidence. It's going to increase your self-esteem. It's going to increase your level of worthiness for yourself. You are worthy and deserving of the very best. And if you're not receiving the very best, it's because of your own limiting beliefs about yourself. The universe wants to give you absolutely everything that you desire. You are the one that has to let it in. Lovingly love yourself, hold space for yourself, be kind to yourself. Recognize that you truly are worthy and deserving, and allow yourself to receive all that you have ever desired, all that you have ever put out there, because it's there. It's there. Alrighty. So I think I might leave it there now that we're there. So does anybody have any questions before I call it a night? Remember to be kind to yourself. Okay, the same way you would treat your best friend, I want you to start treating yourself. And if you don't catch those negative thoughts until the end of a phrase or the end of a sentence, don't bash yourself over it. Now you have more of an awareness of it, and that's a good thing. That's the first step. You start to recognize that you're doing those things, and then you'll start to catch yourself out, and that's where you rewire and reprogram yourself. Dee, you are so very welcome. So, you know, some of the phrases to negate those things that we said about the money and the health, you know, with every breath, I have so much energy. I lovingly love myself. I attract to myself all the abundance that I need. There's so many positive affirmations that you can say to negate those things, the programs that we grew up with. And remember, you are not your family. You are not their stories. You are not even your stories, right? They're just stories, and we don't need to own that shit no more. Dee, you're amazing. Amazing. I love you. Lily, you keep doing it till it eventually disappears. Absolutely. Jean, lovely to see you. Welcome, and hello and goodbye. Jane, you're very welcome. Marina, I found your meditations to be amazing for stress. I recently purchased a fitness watch. Because you started hiking, that's right. It tracks my stress. There you go. Such a big difference in my stress levels before and after meditation. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, much love to you all. I wish for you an amazing evening, an amazing couple of weeks, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Much love. Good night.